Yo, my wonderful people, my viewers and subscribers all over the world. Me, Mo, when my dollar land again with another blockbuster. This one is still on the matter of sit at home. So make on hear this headline when I tell everyone. This early Thursday morning. So my wonderful people, I beg you, make on take them easy. They hammer my head. As I talk to you now, I carry one bandage for one side of my head because the gay person will give me slap. Whether a spiritual slap, I've been a physical slap, me I cannot explain though. But make on hear this headline first before we proceed with other toko. Sit at home. Federal government is defiant as mayhem escalates in the southeast. This was supposed to be our point news for this day. That the escalation of the mayhem that is going on in the southeast, my dear brothers, my dear sisters, that the whole place has been deserted. People are being killed. Students are being flogged out of school and their teachers. A lot of things is happening. But my only annoyance is the one that happened in Enugu State, whereby the governor, so-called Governor Peter Mba, that ugly looking like a way. You force people that they must go out, otherwise you will collect their licensing or registration documents. Yet, you didn't provide enough or adequate security to curtail whatever it is that will happen in this time of sit at home. So, I blame you for that. I don't blame people who went to the school to flog the kids, but I blame the so-called governor who, by all means, said everybody how to follow the order of sit at home. Even me, I didn't support the sit at home. So, bear it in your mind. Like you can abuse me as well, but the end justifies. Just like I said, my watchword, let us be guided. So let us proceed. My wonderful people, do not forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. If the current posture of the Nigerian government is anything to go by, towards the outcry for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, the founder and the leader of indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, then plies, fears, and despair of Southeast residents and Ndibo is far from over. This is because the Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration has seemingly adopted a silent and indifferent stance amid continued appeals and violent protests in the southeast for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who has been in detention as a prisoner of conscience since June of 2021. Kanu's detention came after his extraordinary rendition from Kenya. He was then thrown into Department of State Service DSS cell during the former Muhammadu Buhari's regime. According to the then Buhari government, Kanu was arrested abroad and brought back to answer for a 15-count terrorism-related charges. And while many, especially critics, applauded the government's move, claiming that Kanu's rhetoric exacerbates ethnic tensions and threatens national unity, some others argued that the IPOB leader was only championing the rights of the marginalized Igbo people and calling attention to the perceived injustice they face within Nigeria. Amid a polarized debate on the detention of Nnamdi Kanu, a long-drawn legal tussle ensued between the IPOB's leaders, a legal team, and the federal government of Nigeria. You can call them Fulani government of Nigeria as well. And in October of 2022, 13 precisely, the Abuja division of the Appeal Court discharged and ordered the release of Kanu, citing that the government lacked jurisdiction to prosecute the IPOB due to a faulty extradition processes. However, the government brazenly rejected the ruling and get the Appeal Court to reverse itself by issuing a stay of execution order on its judgment. Only in Nigeria you can hear this kind of a thing. Nnamdi Kanu has been detained for 2 years, and the federal government appears uncommitted to bringing the IPOB founders' case to a swift conclusion. Prominent Igbo leaders and foreign organizations have pleaded with the government to free Kanu, but their cries went unanswered. This situation further fueled crisis and beliefs of segregation against the Igbos under the Biafran administration, and this brought double jeopardy in the southeast as armed gangs unleashed mayhem on government officials and they thrown terror upon innocent residents through enforced routine sit-at-home orders. Daily Post report that these wanton carnages have grounded economic, political, and social activities in the region. However, the advent of the Tinubu government on May 29, 2023 has not only ignited hope that the Igbos will be treated fairly by his government, but also renewed calls and pressures for Nnamdi Kanu's release. Barely 1 month into his administration, Tinubu has had conversations with several concerned groups such as Governor Charles Soludo of Anambra State and Peter Mba of Enugu State, plus the President General of Apex Igbo Social Cultural Organization, Ohaneze Ndi Igbo, on the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But what has been done? Nothing has been done so far. Last week, Governor Mba, after a closed-door meeting with the President in Abuja, disclosed that he urged President to give utmost consideration towards extending a hand of fellowship to the Southeast people through the release of Kanu. Mba said that the Southeast identified with President Tinubu's promise that he will engender national healing and serve the country with compassion. So we have basically informed him that this will serve as a pointer to his administration extension of hands of fellowship, the governor said. In the same vein, retired Army officer Hassan Stan Labo, a security expert, on Wednesday joined the raging calls on President Tinubu to release Kanu to end rising insecurity in the Southeast. But we have some simple question here. Do you think that the Northerners, the Kabars, the Sokoto Caliphate or Fulani government of Nigeria, do you think that they are happy if normalcy is being restored in the Southeast? No. It has not been their plan. Their plan is to make sure that everything that got to do with the Southeast is being brought to zero, including the economy. Forget all this pointing a minister of this, minister of that, chief of security, army, and the rest of them, my dear. These people have a plan to make sure that the Southeast are being brought to zero. Stan Lebo, during an interview, warned that the continued detention of Kanu will make him a hero. Frankly speaking, further incarceration of Kanu will only make him more and more relevant, only heightens the hero worship over him, he said. Also, allow Ejimako Special Counsel to Nnamdi Kanu or Tinubu not to behave like his predecessor, who took calls for self-determination as a personal vendetta against Kanu. Ejimako, in a tweet he made on Wednesday, said Kanu's self-determination was against the Nigerian state and not Tinubu. The demand for self-determination is not personal. It is a demand on the Nigerian state, not against its president. It was Buhari that took it personal, to the point that he killed and rendition for it. President Tinubu should be smart enough not to repeat the same mistake. Ronu. If you are offended by the injustice, regardless of your tribal affiliations, raise your voice for the immediate release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and all prisoners of conscience. President Tinubu, at official bat, inherited from Buhari, your silence is not golden. Please speak up. Thank you. Ejimako's tweet read. Amidst the influence of appeals on Tinubu, tough-talking Finland-based Biafra agitator and self-acclaimed discipline of Kanu, Simon Ekpa, dismissed moves by Southeast governors to end the routine Monday sit-at-home and ordered a 1-week lockdown of the Southeast region to protest the airport leaders' continued detention. And even with the harsh consequences of these lockdowns on residents, Ekpa and his supporters insist on it and will go on a war path with anyone that dissuades people from obeying the sit-at-home order. The 7-day lockdown, which entered day 4 on Thursday, is generating apprehension in the entire Southeast. On Tuesday, communities in Ebonyi State were thrown into turmoil as armed hoodlums who were reportedly enforcing the sit-at-home order set ablaze a police van at Ukwaba village and shot sporadically to scare citizens away from ever coming out. The hoodlums stormed the Ukwaba police checkpoint and told the officers to vacate, and thereafter burned the police van. They also stormed the EKPA police checkpoint and shot sporadically, which made police officers in the area scamper for their lives. Yet, you said security officials are out there to protect lives and property. I salute you now. Police now are running for non-state actors. What a world. Furthermore, The hoodlums allegedly raided the Afiohun market located along Abakaliki-Enugu Express and allegedly shot into the air to force business owners in the market to flee, leaving their wares behind. Again on Wednesday in Enugu State, the residents were thrown into serious tension and fear as unknown government reportedly moved around many parts of the state to enforce the one-week sit-at-home declared by EKPA. Daily Post reported that the gunmen, who had their faces covered with masks, drove in a Sienna vehicle as well as tricycles, shooting sporadically at the new market houses of the state. Artisan, MNA, New Haven, Abapa, Abani Road, and Noah's. Imo State has not been left out, with the government also storming several places to enforce the people back to their homes. With all the candid protests in the southeast, plus passionate appeals for Kano's release, the Nigerian government body language appears unperturbed, as President Tinubu has maintained sealed lips to the ranging clamors, and this has left Nigerians preferring more reasons why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be released. For Monday, Ubani, chairman, section of the Public Interest and Developments of the Nigerian Bar Association, the controlled detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not only worrisome, but a clear indication that the judges are no longer interested in the issues of liberty of citizens. Issue of freedom of an individual is very important. Maybe I will recommend that some of our justices should go to prison and spend 1 month and lose their freedom to appreciate why enforcement of fundamental human rights of an individual should be taken seriously, Ubani told the Daily Post. He added that there was a time when you filed a fundamental human rights suit and got an expedition hearing, but now you file a fundamental rights matter or even bail application, the person has not been convicted and he is there for months, and there is no interest by justice to grant freedom to someone who has not been convicted. Nnamdi Kanu has been in prison for almost 2 years, not almost 2 years, 2 years now, and there is no hurry on the part of judges to ensure that this matter is handled carefully. So I join in appealing to the president to come up with a political solution and hand over Nnamdi Kanu to Igbo leaders and stakeholders in the southeast with an agreement that Nnamdi Kanu should maintain the peace. I believe that Nnamdi Kanu has learned his lessons. We need to bring back sanity in the southeast because some criminals are using this opportunity of Nnamdi Kanu's incarceration to cause havoc in the eastern region, citing Kanu's incarceration as the reason. One of the ways to solve this is to release Kanu so we can now get the criminals causing the havoc in the southeast. I think that President, for the sake of the reconciling and healing Nigeria's wounds, let him release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and find a political solution to this problem, rather than allow the young man to linger in prison, even when he has not been found culpable. So the judiciary has to live up to expectations, Ubani said. Also, Sonia Ekuwusi, a legal practitioner and chairman of the Human Rights Committee of the African Bar Association, admonished President Tinubu to curb the cries of discontent and the secessions of any region in Nigeria with the good governors. People and groups agitate for the breakup of Nigeria because of injustice. Injustice angers people and makes them want to go their separate ways. As you can see in this case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who called for self-determination for the southeast region, but ended up being clamped in prison by the Buhari government. Self-determination is recognized in the African Charter. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not commit any crime that is worse than what the Fulani herdsmen have been doing in various parts of the country. Yet, nobody has been prosecuted, the Fulani herdsmen. But at the hearing, okay, people are calling on the Tinubu government to show inclusion, balance, and a non-victor, vanquish posture by first releasing Kanu. The president should also ensure true federalism in Nigeria. He should give every region a sense of belonging, and with this, more Nigerians will be at peace with his government. Ekunose lamented. Over a year plus now, the Deborah Samuel suspected killers acquitted and released. Let us see the reason why. The Sokoto State Police Command has admitted that the suspects apprehended in connection with the brutal killing of Christian female student Deborah Samuel were taken to court for inciting and disturbance, according to Sahara reporters. The police, however, clarified that they cannot be blamed if the court absolved the suspects. Recall that the Deborah Samuel, a student at Shehu Shegari College of Education in Sokoto, was attacked and burned to death by a mob on May 12, 2022, following remarks deemed offensive to Prophet Muhammad. Days later, two suspects, Biliya Minu Aliu and Aminu Hukunchi, were arrested and appeared in a Sokoto State Magistrate Court in connection with her murder. Despite pleading not guilty to the murder, the court discharged and acquitted them. According to the platform, the Sokoto Police Public Relations Officer, Rufai Ahmed, commented on the case, saying, on the Deborah's issue, police have done their own part by arraigning people in court. Those people that were arrested, like you said, they were charged with inciting disturbance, which is a bailable offense. When we charge them to court, we have done our part. Court decided to vindicate them or release them. That is none of our business. In the Yaram, somebody's life is involved. That question should be directed to the court. We have done our own part. However, court documents cited by the platform reveal that the suspects were released due to the failure of the Nigerian police prosecutors to appear in court. The document detailed a judgment delivered on January 30 of 2023 by the Chief Magistrate Court at Gotua, Sokoto State. The charges of criminal conspiracy and inciting public disturbance against the suspects could have led to a maximum of 2-year jail term if they were convicted. Maximum of 2-year jail term. Somebody who killed and burned somebody alive. Nigeria can never be one. And I still maintain this word. Nigeria can never be one. I know the reason you are angry. Pastor Biyomi replies, white garment churches after 14 days ultimatum. The founder of Salvation Minister, Pastor David Biyomi, has replied white garment churches over his comments on their religious practices. And that was recalled that Biyomi has stated that he hates white garment churches because they often manipulate people spiritually. His statement was greeted with heavy backlash from the churches, and the clerics subsequently urged the Port Harcourt-based pastor to apologize within 14 days or he will visit their God. The cleric said, I'm saying that I want to speak to Mr. or Pastor David Biyomi. I am a bona fide celestial prophet, but what he said to we the celestials, he really made a terrible mistake, and as a man of God, we are expecting him within that 14 days that the supreme evangelist speak against him to apologize. If he did not, this is not a word of threat. He will visit our God. Replying to the backlash, Biyomi stated that the churches were angry with him because he knows their secret. He maintained that the wickedness in the white garment churches is unbearable. The clergy man claimed that he was also deceived by them in the past. You can as well watch the video where he made those comments. Let us proceed, my people. You have 6 months to impress me or get sacked. Kano governor tells all his commissioners. Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State has said the newly inaugurated commissioners have 6 months to perform, after which they will be assessed based on their performances. Nigeria News report that Governor Yusuf stated this on Wednesday during the Maiden State Executive Council meeting he presided over at the State Secretariat in Kano State. The governor stated that based on the assessment, the commissioner who performed well will be appreciated and those who underperformed will be sacked. Yusuf informed the commissioners that he will head the monitoring and the evaluation team to monitor the performance and their ministries. He added that their appointments were based on merit, professionalism, previous performances, and competence, and urged them to be committed to their duties. In a statement after the council meeting, media aide to the governor, Hashim Habib, said Governor Yusuf told the commissioners that the appointments were based on merit, professionalism, previous performance, and competence, and urged them to be committed to their duties. Let me urge you all to sustain the tempo of loyalty, dedication, commitment to duty, and be honest in the discharge of your duties. Be honest, accountable, and mindful of the confidence reposed on us by the good people of Kano State. And reminding you that your appointment is on probation of 6 months period, after which a monitoring and evaluation team under my leadership will be monitoring the performances of the ministries, and those who performed well will be appreciated, and those who underperformed will be pulled out of the race. The governor tasked the commissioners to work as a one family for the people of Kano, believing that they are the best team to salvage the state from the mismanagement by the immediate past administration and deliver the dividends of democracy in the nooks and crannies of their state. Governor Abba used the opportunity to thank the people of the state and assure them that as the journey begins, they will soon start to see positive changes that have direct bearing in their direct lives. Peter Obi's campo don't react to as Tinubu tells a tribunal he is not a valid member of the Labour Party. So let us see their reactions. The claim by President Bola Tinubu that Peter Obi is not a valid member of the Labour Party has been countered by the Obidati Media Office, who described it as empty evidence. The media office in a statement on Wednesday said the matter is of no consequence as it has already been settled by the appeal court. It will be recalled that President Tinubu and Vice President Shatima Hashim on Wednesday tendered a copy of a Labour Party membership register for Anambra State as evidence of their claim that Peter Obi is not a registered member of the party. According to them, Nigerians report that Obi and the Labour Party are challenging the victory of Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the All Poverty Congress at the February 25th presidential selection. Responding to Obi's petition at the tribunal, Tinubu and Shetima had argued that not being a member of the party at the time of the last presidential election, Obi was not qualified to have contested the last election on the platform of Labour Party. However, according to a statement signed by Diran Onifade, the Obidati Media Office has countered the claims by Tinubu. The statement said the ruling All Poverty Congress and Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Wednesday closed their case in the ongoing hearing of the petition filed by the Labour Party candidate Peter Obi. Among the documents submitted to the court is the register purported to be indicating that Obi is not a member of the Labour Party as stipulated by the electoral guidelines. But apparently unknown to them, or they were feigning ignorance that the matter was long settled by the Court of Appeal in a judgment delivered on Wednesday, the 8th of February 2023, by a team of 3 justices led by President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Monica Bulana and Domban Mensem, Justice Ugochukwu Anthony Ogaku, and Danlami Zama Sinichi, in the case between the Allied People's Movement (APM), the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), and the Labour Party and Peter Gregory Obi. The Court of Appeal in Abuja then dismissed the appeal by the APM seeking to disqualify Peter Obi from being the presidential candidate of the Labour Party come February 25th general election. In the appeal marked CA/ABJ/CV/1414/2022, the movement had approached the court contending that the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) ought not to have recognized Peter Obi as a valid candidate for the presidential pool. APM said this was in a consideration of the time Obi defected from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to the Labour Party. The party argued that the period of Obi's defection for the purpose of contesting the presidential election violated Section 77, Subsection 2 and Subsection 3 of the Electoral Act of 2022. They also abused that Peter Obi's defection, the Labour Party sent a list of its registered members to the INEC. They then claimed that Obi lacked the right
to be recognized as the Labour Party flag bearer because his name was not on the list of the party members that were submitted to INEC. APM had urged the court to set aside a federal high court judgment which dismissed the suit it filed to challenge Obi's candidacy on the same matter. But in an unanimous decision by the three-member panel of the justices, the appellate court said there was no merit in the appeal filed by the APM. The justice reaffirmed the decision of the Abuja High Court that had earlier dismissed the case, saying that the lower court cannot be faulted, the appeal is devoid of merit. The same fails and it is deserving of dismissal. Obedient media office wishes therefore to draw the attention of the public to this case and to disregard the empty evidence and propaganda of the APC and its candidates in the highly contentious February 25th presidential election. The last but not the least, tension as police extend gunfire with a bubago all in Imo State. There was a tension in Imo State on Wednesday after the operatives of the Nigerian police force and the Bubago security network reportedly engaged in a gunfire exchange. Reports reaching Nigerian News revealed that the chaotic incident happened at the Imo State Ministry of Justice Secretariat. According to leadership, the incident resulted in a stampede as a result of workers scampering to safety during the shooting between the security operatives. Scores of people were reportedly injured in the incident. A source quoted by the news platform said an operative of the Bubago group was being bullied by a group of policemen near the state attorney general's office. Apparently, he smartly notified his colleagues. Almost immediately, other operatives of the Bubago appeared from nowhere and engaged the policemen in a gun battle. They started shooting sporadically in the air, but nobody was shot. It was in a bid to avoid sustaining gunshots by the workers that a stampede resulted at the secretariat that led to some sustaining various degrees of injuries, the source, who pleaded anonymity, said. He narrated that the policeman had accused the Bubago operatives of overstepping his boundaries and usurping the job of the police command. Nigerian News learned that the chaotic situation on Wednesday happened in a bid to address the issue. Reacting, however, the spokesperson for the governor, Hope Uzodinjo Ogwike Nwachukwu, explained that there was no attack by unknown gunmen at the state secretariat as stated in some quarters. He explained that it was a case of police operatives trailing a suspect in a case in order to effect his arrest in an alleged crime when some gunshots were released in the air. There was no such incident involving unknown gunmen as it is currently being peddled at some quarters. It was an attempt to effect the person's arrest that the police fired warning shots at the secretariat. Members of the public are therefore advised to ignore any information linking the incident to unknown gunmen as there was nothing of such. Leadership quoted Nwachukwu. So my wonderful people, my viewers and subscribers all over the world, we're going to take this one the step down because any talk without rest could make us dull talkative and it make us what? Make Jack a dull boy. So as you listen, as you enjoy, make it remember to subscribe, like, share, and also comment. Until you hear my voice, I'm gonna come your way again. I still remain your one and only Okute Daily Talk from my own corner, bringing to you this news. Have a nice day. May the good Lord Almighty bless us all, the Father, the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, as we continue with our daily duties of this day. May we never fall victim of any kind, and this day shall be blessed for each and every one of us. Have a nice day, my wonderful people. Bye for now. Kemesiano.